Hey, welcome to the Cool Club. And I really do believe that's a good point. I mean, a lot of companies, they do look in the situation of how can we make the most money? How can we treat mental health like a profit-making system? How can and that's why I don't think that necessarily people put the places and the tools and the efforts behind actually fixing it, because the more, it's just like being physically ill, the more mentally ill people that you have, the more money that can be made off of, quote, just trying to patch it up, being reactive, not being proactive, making sure that you're putting a band-aid, not actually getting to the root of the problem and fixing the situation from where it comes. So with that being said, I think that a lot of proactive things can be done, as far as we've touched on before, eating well, treating your body well. But so Brandy, back to you. What do you think is some of the measures that can be taken outside of just throwing pills at it, can just be done, at least in the medical system? I know that the therapeutic work can do wonders, but what do you think can be done in the first place to provide or even prevent some of these things from happening?
As far as the pill mills, or
As far as not only just the medication that gets prescribed, but what do you think is something that can be done, either to prevent maybe issues from arising, or more holistic way
uh,
of helping out situations outside of making it just about a dollar sign and just about a chemical that can be given to somebody?
I think a lot of our physicians need to look into the holistic world of health. And I'm not talking, just essential oils and stuff. I'm talking about real things, prescribing somebody to go work out, prescribing somebody to do yoga, you know, kind of force their hand, because a lot of times when you're struggling mentally, you can't make yourself even get out of bed or get off the couch or, put your pants on. So if your doctor's telling you, hey, you have to take care of your body, maybe that's something. Or, maybe have more community resources. I don't know. There's just a lack of resources, and I think people really need to be weary of the pharmaceutical industry, because it's not always your best in mind when it comes to that. A lot of physicians, it's just like, okay, I'll just throw this because this was a good rep, or I have so many of these left in the closet or whatever, not really taking the time to really figure it out. And I've been to a few of those doctors where they don't listen to you and they just say, try this, let me know how it goes after 6 weeks. And that's really frustrating. I think we really need more bedside manner of physicians who's really gonna listen to you, really gonna take you seriously. Like, I know my body better than anyone else, so when I'm saying there's a problem and I'm going to see a physician, there's a real problem.
Yep.
And a lot of times it's hard for certain groups of people to be heard and actually listened to within the medical community. Especially, like, I used to be heavier, and it was, oh, just lose some weight, you'll be fine, lose some weight. That's really frustrating to hear when I may be fat, but, like, I'm telling you, I ride my bike 5, 6, 7 miles a day. Like, I'm not, like, I'm just because I'm fat doesn't mean that's why I
You can
hurt.
be healthy and still have an extra little bit of weight. That's not like a,
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
it's not, I like, obviously, yeah, that's like something, okay, like having health concerns. Yeah, sure. Eating at like a lower weight would probably help, but that's not like
It's not the
everybody
core.
like looks at that. Like, yeah, it's not the, yeah,
It's
Mhm.
I
not.
agree.
It's probably a symptom of something more serious, which mine was, which was an autoimmune.
Right.
So it's, don't look at it as like the cause. Look at it as a symptom of along with the other things this person's feeling. So I think there's a lot to be done in the world of physician bedside manner and really paying attention. I think a
I
lot
don't
of
think they're
them.
well.
No, I don't think so, because I think they are so overwhelmed and so they just don't.
I don't even
I
think
don't
it's that. I honestly, I'm not one for conspiracies, but I truly believe, no, like, I'm really not, like, but I truly believe that medical, like, pharma is the one thing that is truly never going to have your best interest at heart.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't think they will. yes, they're putting out this medication, but they're putting out this medication that's gonna not quite fix you, but manage your symptoms.
Yep. Yep.
And there's gonna be a lot of things, like honestly, I think there's a lot of potential cures for a lot of things that are out there that are being hushed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
definitely.
I think I think that that's a big part of the problem of why, you know, a lot of places are, I think as a whole, I think as a country, I think America's probably one of the unhealthiest countries in the world, if I remember right.
Oh yeah, easily.
And it's because of all the shit that's
100%.
yeah.
it's because of all the shit that our FDA and everything is allowed to have here. Like if you look at a box of cereal here and you look at a box of cereal in Denmark, you're gonna see two totally the same box, but a whole different ingredient list.
Yeah.
A whole different ingredient list.
Yep.
Because they're not allowed to put that shit in their food. They're not allowed to put that shit in their bodies.
Exactly.
They don't have these. Yes. Why do you think there's people over there that live longer? Because their governments probably aren't holding as much of the shit back from them.
Yeah.
You know, like there's. I'm not saying there's like a cure-all pill out there. That's not what I'm saying. But as far as what I'm saying is, I'm sure that there's things that can help not only manage your symptoms for some things, but like do a treatment for, you know, I don't know, 5 to 6 months on something and it fixes you. If you can fix your body, your muscles, why can't you fix certain parts of your other body with medicine?
Right.
That's just my opinion. And like I said, I'm not a professional and I don't really believe in conspiracies, but I truly believe like that's one thing that I don't think it's gonna go away.
I mean, it's clearly not a conspiracy. I mean, any ample amount of research, as many documentaries and papers that have been put out on that exact subject will point all signs to that. And that's actually a very interesting leeway to the next point I wanted to hit, that not only can bad medical advice or self-medicating be a bad thing, but even the food that we eat can be something that the synapses and the chemical processes within your mind of releasing that serotonin, releasing that feel-good chemical to kind of ease your own pain, help you really get through something. I mean, Grayson, I know you probably have some sweets or some food, or are you a big guy that kind of, I know I do. Do you turn to either comfort food, or is there something that you know that will at least like release that serotonin in your mind, whether it be food, whether it be video games, whether it be something that, you know, it can even be like a coping thing, but it can actually hurt you while you're coping, right?
Okay.
I don't know how much you like food, but I was just leading over to that one.
No, I love food. I'm a foodie, right? But
Yeah.
I'm not so big on sweets.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear to you guys, I'm not a child. Okay, I love chicken nuggets and apple juice. It makes me happy.
I love chicken nuggets too, bro.
It makes me happy. Like my little chicken nuggets with my apple juice.
Hey, we have like a 100 pack of frozen chicken nuggets, and they're not,
Hell yeah.
and they're not for me.
Dino Nuggets, you have to go. Dino Nuggets.
They're not for me. That's all I'm saying.
They're all mine.
So, Grayson, back to you real quick. And I know, I mean, there's a lot of problems, right? We can talk till we're blue in the face. We can talk about being misdiagnosed. We can talk about incorrectly self-medicating. We can talk about this. We can talk about that. The one thing that I want to focus next on is how not only is it just because of the pharmaceutical companies, or it's not just because of therapists or a lack thereof, or insurance companies, but it's also the laws that we have that are placed within this country that don't correctly fund the institutions that we need to have to be able to have the money allocated to the right areas. I mean, are you aware of this problem? Do you know that there is something, what would you say that would be done? Or I'm not trying to tell you to fix the whole political system, but I'm sure that's probably something that's crossed your mind, or that you know that we're just not helping, or we're not getting the resources to be able to have to give people what they need, right? So, I mean, what do you think? Well, how, if we had some kind of institution, or we had some kind of system set up that would be funded by either a government or a private agency, what do you think? I mean, I know that's a lot to ask right off the bat. No correct answer or no wrong answer is right or wrong. But in your opinion, like, what do you think could be done? Or like a facility, just paying more people, putting people in schools? I mean, what do you think could be at least a governmental way of helping the problem?
I don't know, like more it's such a hard question for me to answer because I never seek something out like that myself, you know, or I don't know too many people, you know, that I know that have like seeked out other than like, you know, going, you know, like to like therapy and everything. But
Right.
I don't know, like I feel like rec centers are like, there should be more rec centers and like a whole bunch of more communities and everything, right? Give people like, you know, a place to go to, and then like, you know, there's plenty of people there. I mean, I hope to God, you know, at least the rec centers that I've been to, like they have like, you know, fitness equipment in there. They got like, you know, little gyms, basketball courts. They're like a whole bunch of like other rooms for like different things. Just like,
So
I
you're
don't know,
just
just
saying like more of them?
yeah, more of them because I don't ever see them like that. I see them like one
Yeah, rec
every so
centers are
often.
like a thing of the past almost.
Yeah,
but I feel
the
like they'd be
ones-
so useful though, man.
Yeah,
The
and they
ones
keep
we
kids
have
out
here
of
are more
trouble.
like country club.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, the YMCA. Do you guys have YMCA's?
Yeah, there's one, but I haven't been to any of them around here.
The YMCA. I used to work out at a YMCA, and it was very much a rec center. I mean, there was basketball court, there was swimming pool, there was a kids place, there was
Welcome to the Moose
you
Group.
know, there was like a cardio room instead, like outside of like the workout rooms. Like if you didn't want to be bothered by people, like there was like a cardio area. Like there was a lot of different like areas, and I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
Those
go ahead. Sorry.
are a thing. No, like those are a thing.
Well, and I think
No.
that what Kevin's saying without actually saying it is, hey, we have to start from a young age. It has to be something that's available because most rec centers, I mean, I know that we all go there as adults to work out, but rec centers that would have child-focused areas like activities, I mean, most activities that children get these days is here's the TV, here's an iPad, here's the phone, entertain yourself, watch this movie, watch this video, and it's not really even engaging, entertaining, mind-stimulating. So I think that's a great idea from Grayson. Like there has to be available activities, and it necessarily, my question originated in government funded. That can be city, that can be county, that can be state, whatever it may be. These are things that can definitely be at least in the short
Can I counter
run.
you?
Yeah, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No,
but I
you're
wanna
fine, you're
counter
fine.
You because I think that these died off because of how our society is.
Oh yeah.
They died off because video games are a thing.
Yeah.
They died off because kids don't want to leave their house as much. There's more access to the world in a kid's house than there is outside of a kid's house.
For sure.
So,
Moose Team!
you know, I think it's hard because you also have to, like, yeah, that sounds great, right? And not to like shun your idea or anything, but I think it's not necessarily that they're not around. I think it's that they were they died because they weren't being used. And I think what that comes down to is if we're going to talk about something, I think we need to talk about society as a whole and how we bring up our kids, maybe like not, you know, showing them technology, which is impossible now.
I think so. I think it's it goes both ways, really. It's kind of one's the product of another, right? One is almost a reaction to the other that leads to the reaction of the other. So it's kind of like it's like a double-edged sword. It happened because people were exposed to technology, so weren't interested in going outside, interested in being around people because it was so convenient, so easy to have that at a click of a button. But then also it's because they didn't have it and they didn't go to it in the first place. So the more they didn't go or attend these rec centers or outside activities, it died off, and then you can't bring them back because nobody eventually wants to go back to them because now they're used to it, right? So it's really, really difficult. I mean, Brandy, same question. I mean, what do you see can be done in the mean term or the short term or the long term to at least somehow, some way at an institutional level be able to provide not just the medication or the therapy I was talking about earlier, but what are some things that you think might be beneficial to really help this pandemic of mental health that we're seeing?
That's a difficult question. I know there's a lot more resources available online that became more available during the pandemic and stuff. So I encourage people to seek those out. However, some of them get very expensive. So I think maybe online free resources, you know, for therapy, maybe just a quick counseling session when you need it, you know, not something that you have to subscribe to and pay $80 a week. I mean, who can afford that, you know?
Yeah.
And especially when you're paying out of pocket, it just adds up. Granted, it's for your health, but still, you know, that's just the therapist fee. That's not any medications or anything that they decide that you need and have to work with your physician on and stuff. So I think those online free resources, but we also need to, I think we need to teach our kids how to communicate with us their feelings.
Great point.
Because I'm watching my best friend's daughter, and the best thing for her has been learning what her feelings are and how to express those feelings. You know, so where it used to end up in a tantrum and screaming, and it's now, okay, I'm crying because I feel sad, or I'm angry, or I'm angry because I'm scared. You know, that sort of thing. Like that's the biggest thing, is teaching our kids how to communicate and feel those emotions, allow them to feel those emotions. Because when I was a kid, you weren't allowed to feel emotions.
Yeah.
You got to be tough. You got to toughen up. Stop crying. Why are you crying? You know, I'll give you something to cry about. All that crap.
Yeah.
You know, so I think teaching our kids at a very young age what their feelings are, what those emotions are, how to process them, how to communicate with them, and we as the adults need to listen.
Yep.
Because a lot of times our life is going so fast, we just brush them off, and that's our fault, you know. And I think if we slow down a little bit, just as a society, just slow down, take a freaking break for a minute. It doesn't always have to be 100 miles an hour, because we're missing so much around us. When we could see that someone's hurting that we care about, and reach out to them, because we're not so involved in ourselves and everything that we're trying to get done.
Exactly. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll be uploading every week, and everything is live streamed from my Twitch channel. Check the information down below in the description. Stay cool.